For Juan Soto, let's have some fun tonight. Well, if you're a fan of block kicks, boy, do we have a game for you. The Atlanta Falcons came into Las Vegas. Raiders on a 9-game losing streak with really nothing at all to play for. The Falcons were just kind of nipping at the possibility of being in the playoffs, and it turned into a battle of who could try to lose this game more, Raheem Morris versus Antonio Pierce. Raiders fall 10th time in a row, 15-9, and Soto, this game could have been an email.
Whew. It's it's very difficult for me to wrap my head around wanting this outcome.
Mm.
It's really hard.
I was very torn on that last drive. It's like, you're like, oh, wow,
Look,
we're finally moving.
me too.
Desmond Ritter in the fourth. What can
The
he
issue,
do?
look, Ritter's probably not going to be on the team next year. He's not our quarterback of the
I
future.
think the only quarterback on the roster we keep next year is Barba.
Yeah, it's like he's not the future. We're not learning anything about the team that we don't already know. Yes, they're depleted. They don't have a lot of talent. We're going to get an influx of talent with just the people that we have that are hurt coming back next season.
Mhm.
It just doesn't. It didn't make a lot of sense, but I understand. And I mean, the whole narrative. Oh, the team's playing hard. The team's playing hard. I will say this again, and I'll say it every episode if this is still a narrative out there. Getting your team to play hard is not a reason to keep your job. Having your team not play hard is a reason to lose your job.
Mm.
And nothing has changed in my mind.
Farting during a date is going to get you not laid. Not farting during a date doesn't guarantee you're going to get laid.
I don't know, man. I think chicks are kind of starting to come around on the farting.
I didn't get that
I've been
memo.
in the dating pool a lot more recent than you have. There's three things that are like a lot more acceptable nowadays: farting, choking, and spitting in their mouth.
You're right. I have not been in the dating pool for a very long time.
I'm telling you, man, it's like a whole new world out there.
Are they Raider? Are the chicks Raider fans as well? Because it sounds like that's probably the best part of their Sunday.
Yeah, probably.
The best part of this game is when it ended, when it was just all over.
It was a terrible game, dude.
Just an
So
awful
bad.
game all the way around. I mean, Raheem Morris just super conservative. Antonio Pierce always conservative as he's ever been. Just not having any faith in Kirk Cousins, and why would they? Like it was basically Desmond, or it was basically Raheem Morris, just like the Raiders can't do anything, so let's just do as little as possible and just like not get in our own way. And when you're playing the Raiders, you can do that. You can just be like, we're just gonna not get in our own way and let them screw up and get a 4-point win that way.
Yeah, it was a
6-1
little concerning. The thing that I find encouraging is, despite the lack of talent on the team,
win.
it was still a close game, and they didn't play well, but they did play hard, and that's always a good thing. It shows more leadership of the team leaders than a reflection of the coach. Again, I don't see that as a positive. The coach should have their teams playing hard. Um, it just it's a shame, man. It's a shame. This is what we've come to. But I said it last show. I mean, on the last main show, this year needed to happen. And I mean, the roster that went to the playoffs, that wasn't a very good roster. We beat a lot of backup teams in COVID year. Like, it was weird. It was a weird situation that got us into the playoffs that year. The next season, the 6-win season, or was it 8 wins? No, yeah, it was 8. They weren't very good. 6-win team wasn't very good. The roster hasn't been very good or very deep in a long time. This needed to happen for us to be able to replenish, restock, go from one of the oldest to one of the youngest teams. Maybe this is me trying to cope with how bad we are, but I really do believe this season a reset type of year that didn't involve us blowing everything up. Because the only guy that we really traded away this year was Devontae Adams, and I mean, third round pick. He hasn't been producing that much. He played pretty well this last game, but I don't know, man. It's pretty disheartening though. Even though this is probably the more favorable outcome for us, it still sucks.
Yeah, you talk about favorable outcome. We are back to having the number 1 overall draft pick at 2-12 and losing 10 in a row, double-digit losing streak. Giants have a much tougher schedule than the Raiders. I mean, us versus the Jaguars next week is good. You thought this game was unwatchable. That game next week is going to make you want to spork your
Dude,
eyeballs.
at least Mac Jones can move the ball down the field, dude. Fucking, I don't know what happened to Cousins. Like he was banging his cousin and more like it.
So we'll see. Us versus Jacksonville. It'll be nice to get that one as a loss as well. But that's what's important right now, right? Get the number 1 overall pick. We'll decide what we do with it later. Is it Shedeur, Cam, or best player available? God only knows. But at least we'll have the number 1 overall pick. Because really, what are we playing for this season? Antonio Pierce is still playing for his job, I think, in his mind. But I think the writing's on the wall. He's gone.
Yeah, he ain't coming back.
I would love to have Brock Bowers break some records. Like, he's broken a lot. It would be awesome for him to get Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think that should be like the only like on the field goal, really. Like, always, young guys get experience. I like our rookie class, right? We got 4 starters out of the draft, right? Get them experience, get them playing. A lot of this defense is probably going to return. Get them more cohesive, understanding what's going on. And then Brock Bowers, just give him, just force feed him the ball. Just who gives a shit what the score is? Just force Brock, try to break some records. On the field wise, yeah, that's pretty much it. Spirits for the young guys and rock to Brock.
Yeah, you got to keep feeding them. I don't know that we were really trying to. We didn't really move them around a lot. I didn't see a lot of motion. The only motion I saw was like that jet sweep motion and some of the inside, cross the formation on the running plays for like a misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him being moved around a little bit more, some more favorable matchups, put him in positions where it's a little harder to double him. But that would have probably gave us enough points to win this game, I think.
I mean, is there anyone that's going to be pissed at Scott Turner if the game plan is just like 18 targets to Brock Bowers? Like, is there one person that's going to be like, oh no, that's just poor football. That's just bad football. But it is Desmond Ridder throwing the ball. 23 of 39, 208 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, took 3 sacks as well. It is kind of weird. Like, it was jarring in the first quarter watching us have an athletic quarterback. Like, watching him move in the back, I was like, oh shit. Like, Desmond Ridder's not a lot of things, but he's an athlete. He is an athlete. Like, the guy can move. And just watching, like, because I'm so used to Aiden O'Connell and, Gardner Minshew, and you got Desmond Ridder's like, doom, doom, doom. Like, oh, wow. That's jarring. I'm not used to you. I'm not used to that guy doing
nice
stuff.
Balls. He threw some nice balls out there. Really nice passes, really into some tight windows, some with a lot of touch. I would kind of like, depending on who we get in the draft, he might be creeping up to the backup job. But I mean, we'll see. He's probably gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen with Favre going forward, but it's a big old mess, man. It's a big old mess, and we shouldn't have expected anything less. With the amount of people that we had out, and just the number of players that we had, playing the quarterback position, and just the lack of any type of star power on the field, it just looked really bad.
Johnny Gones, thank you so much for the super chat. I can't believe 54 of you guys are still up watching us. We really, after a game like that, I can't believe you finished the game. You finished the game and actually came to talk about that game. God bless you, sick motherfuckers.
It's a bad
God
game,
bless
dude.
you guys.
It's such a bad game.
Johnny Gones, what up, boys? Damn clear the NFL wants Shedeur in Vegas. Rest of the way, it's going to be 70% we suck, 30% refs with some help. Hashtag thank God.
I mean, dude, that freaking call against Spillane, that was pretty rough.
That was atrocious, dude.
That was so bad. That's so bad.
The referee had the gall to say this was a shot to the head. I had no idea that Kirk Cousins' head was located on his shoulders. That's baffling to me. And of course, PG just.
I think Patrick Graham called a really nice game today.
Look at that. Nothing touched the head. Not one thing touched his head. It's all shoulders. You show me the head contact. That is textbook when you're coming after a quarterback and he's making the pass and you jump up to try to block it and then you come down on their shoulders. That was textbook.
Garcia, I'm a sick individual because I listen to the Autumn Windbags, whom I love.
The Autumn Dirtbags.
Autumn Dirtbags.
That'll be if we start a baseball podcast.
Right.
The Autumn Dirtbags. Long Beach State baseball team. The Autumn Dirtbags. Yeah, I mean, obviously this game wasn't decided by the refs, but that was atrocious. That was a god awful.
Yeah, it was a third down play too.
Penalty. Yeah. Spillane had a good game. That was a really good interception. Like, obviously, Kirk Cousins is a turnover machine. You don't want to start like jerking off anybody who can pick him
He
up.
Still had a freaking dive for it. It wasn't in his gut.
And it was a tip. So like it was tipped a little bit, and Spillane made the adjustment to just like go for it. Like that was, again, Kirk Cousins is loves giving away the ball, but that was pretty. That was a really good interception by Spillane.
To just pull him out, like, does he hit harder than anyone his size? Like, he's not that big a guy. Like, he's tall, but he's lean. Mm-hmm. But when he freaking hits these guys, oof.
He projectiles his body.
Thumper, man.
Sam Demand, longtime friend of the show. Thank you so much for the super chat. Vrabel and which OC next year? So, this is like all we're like really like these are the most important questions, right? Who's our quarterback? Who's the head coach? Who's the offensive coordinator? Like, and these decisions are three different decisions, but they're all one decision because they all have to jive together. And so that's what's hard here, right? Is how many times have I said we can draft the best quarterback in the draft, but if we don't have the infrastructure, coaching, and system and organization to make them thrive, it's not going to matter. Reddick was even saying it on the broadcast. They're talking about, the Raiders need a good quarterback situation. They need that's clearly the number one option. There's no secret there, but he's just like, look, if you don't have everything around a young quarterback to succeed, it doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter who that quarterback is if you can't have the people around him to succeed. And so this, head coach, OC, quarterback, it all kind of has to be one tangible decision, right? There has to be some cohesion to that decision where it's a head coach that can not just fill in or be the coach, but like shake this thing to its foundation and change this organization at its core. An offensive coordinator that jives with that head coach, and whatever quarterback we either draft or sign or whatever that jives with the other three. Like that needs to be, it's not like we're just Mr. Potato heading this thing together however we want to. It's got to be like one cohesive thought process on the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough talent on this team, and I do have faith in Telesco's drafting ability because he put together a good roster with San Diego.
Yeah,
when he was mostly in San Diego. And
San Diego sucked. It wasn't because they didn't have players. They always had players.
They always had players. So, I mean, if this is a very important offseason, this is probably one of the most important off seasons that we've seen in quite some time, because it allows you to reset at a good place. Like what do you want as a franchise moving forward, right? You want to have good pieces around a young quarterback. You want to have some young pieces around them that can grow together. That's what you have on this team right now. This defense, mark my words, man, this defense, when the players come back healthy, is going to be much improved. It's going to be a lot closer to the defense we saw at the end of last year than defense we saw this year. And You have a player like Bowers, and you have, very competent.
Just losing Christian Wilkins alone, just that one player. Like when we had Christian Wilkins,
just flipped everything around, man.
We were 2-2. Maxx Crosby had like 3.5 sacks, right? During that time. Like now you didn't have to get triple teamed every single play. Like just the loss of one, probably our third best defensive player. Not even our best, but just losing our third best defensive player at defensive tackle and Wilkins, like that alone set this defense back drastically. Which again, it's, we need to build a defense that can handle losing players. But you name one team that can lose QB1, QB2, your 6 defensive starters went on IR at some point. Like the Lions are like the one team that can do that and still win. We can't.
From the first day, from day one, all right, first, second string quarterback gone, first string running back gone, wide receiver 1 gone, center and right tackle not playing, DN2, D tackle 1 gone, your best, who turned out to be your best corner, gone. Your best safety gone. It's like, dude, there's only so much you can do with next man up. This year, the experience that the players that are younger have gotten, the Laulus, the Chasons, the Polomaus, the Decam Richardsons, those guys getting a lot. Adam Butler emerging as a guy that we really seriously think about re-signing. These are a lot of guys that normally wouldn't have gotten a lot of playing time, who are going to be that much better when the starters do come back. So you're going to see a lot better team coming back next season. We definitely need to upgrade our guards, like both of them. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to sour greatly on Dylan Parham.
Okay.
He's getting beat and he's getting pushed around. And you see it when you see Jackson Powers Johnson play. You see how effective and how just of a brute he is and how strong he is. And then you see both guards getting their asses kicked. And you can't have that in the middle of the line, man.
I did my my regular Monday spot on Cofield's show, and they're like, all right, well, other than the obvious quarterback, like what are the biggest holes to fill? And that was, for a team that's this bad, that's a shockingly tough question to answer, because other than running back, there isn't one room that, when healthy, that's just hot garbage. That's just, that's clearly the black hole, pardon the pun, of this squad, right? Like, we need playmakers for sure, but Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Brock Bowers, it's not atrocious, right? We could obviously use more wide receiver help, no doubt about it. We have a ton of Pro Bowl defensive ends when they're healthy. Our linebackers, good, right? Spillane, Diablo, Spillane's good. I think Diablo above average. We can still improve, but
we could improve on Diablo.
We can improve on Diablo, but it's not, God, like it's not like, we're gonna pick on this guy if you're offensive coordinator. DBs, Nate Hobbs and Jacorian Bennett's developing. Safeties are pretty good. O-line can always use help in depth. Running back is the worst running back room in football. But this isn't an atrocious. This isn't a 2-12 roster. It isn't. It isn't a 2-12 roster. It's
when
a 2-12
healthy,
season.
Definitely.
When healthy, it's not a 2-12 roster, right? Other than quarterback. Like quarterback clearly is an issue.
Yeah, our backfield is the worst in not just collectively, but individually. We have the worst quarterback situation and the worst running back situation in the NFL. And I don't think it's even close.
And they're all hurt anyway.
Yeah, even when healthy, it's not a great, backfield. But I mean, there's a lot of options to go to. I mean, if we stick with the number one pick, there's a lot. I've heard there's a kind of a ground swelling of just an inkling of the Raiders making a push to get pick number 3 as well, if the Giants are number 2. Similar to what the Houston Texans did a couple of years ago.
So they would trade with right now would be New England.
I mean, yeah, it might. It could be. It will be very expensive, but I just
Shador
heard
and
a little
Travis.
rumor. It's not anything substantiated by anyone of any substance. Just a thing I heard floating around there.
One of those farting chicks you date.
Not them farting so much, but them being okay with me farting.
Oh, okay. Well, you know she's got class. I can't guarantee your sources. 1 and 3,
she
huh?
is going out with me, so it's just already questionable.
Right. Go. So they just go all in on Shador and Travis Hunter. Just get the tandem.
Yeah.
At least at least technically you're getting 3 players, right? Travis can play both ways. See, now he's just getting cute because he did that after the bye week too. So he's like, I think he heard that. He's just like, oh wait, people think this is about the Raiders. Let me start doing it again. Speaking of, remember Dan Orlovsky on the broadcast was like, Deion Sanders, there's no way he's going to let his son go to a franchise that's not going to be successful. Like, what the fuck power does Deion Sanders have to choose where Shador's going to go? Every single goddamn season, one of these players, one of the media narratives is, this guy's just going to Caleb Williams. Remember before pre-draft? Oh, this diva is just gonna he's not gonna go where he wants. He's gonna want a piece of the organization. He's gonna have his agent make all these demands. It's like, nope. He was drafted to the team that had the position to draft him. Went to training camp, went to practice, played football like normal, made no weird demands.
Guys, I want us to really pay attention to this here, okay? The Caleb Williams situation is a cautionary tale, but not the cautionary tale a lot of people who have a bias against taking Shador or Cam Ward are thinking. It's not the guy coming out of college that was the can't miss prospect being a bust. It's not surrounding that young quarterback with the coaching good enough to develop him to get to maximize his talents. Mm-hmm. And that's where the difference between Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams comes into play. Now, Jayden Daniels did go into a situation where a lot of the weapons he had had been there for a long time, and Scary Terry's just an amazing talent, right? And then, Zach Ertz, he had a concussion last game, but you got Zach Ertz, who was very comfortable with the Kingsbury offense. They went in Arizona together, stuff like that. So, okay, you put a couple pieces together for him. But just the ineptitude of the coaching staff of the Bears has made Caleb Williams look like just absolute dog shit. And he's not that player. He's much better than what he's playing right now. It's just the whole situation. That's why RJ was mentioning it, that these are the very important decisions moving forward. Who's going to be the head coach? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? Who's going to be the quarterback? A lot of the bias that I hear about Shador Sanders is because he's Deion's son. Oh, he's only getting this. And trust me, I wasn't in the whole Colorado camp, right? Where, oh wow, Deion's doing this great thing with Colorado. No, he brought over a bunch of good players. It wasn't a great coaching job. He just brought over a bunch of excellent. He brought over probably the 1 and 2 pick of the draft, right? Or 1 and 3 or whatever. Two of the top 3 guys he brought over from his old school to the new school. Yeah, you're going to be better. You bring over more talent, right? It's not like Harbaugh taking over the Stanford Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are again, a freaking terrible team with the same talent. Just he had a lot of the constraints of how to get into the school, and he made them a national powerhouse. That's different. So a lot of the hate that I see going Shador's way is just bias, and it's I know what I see. I know what I see on film, right? And I don't know. I'm not like any of these guys who are pros and who are pro scouts and who are pro draft people. I'm not that, but I know what I'm looking at and I know what I see, and then I double check it with draft projections and scouting reports and stuff like that. And okay, and it confirms something. Sometimes I learn something new and I go back and look. But he's the most pro ready quarterback in this draft class, with a ceiling to go up even better than that, because he's been really well coached, and he identifies defenses like at an NFL quarterback level. Like, it's very difficult to fool him. Um, I just don't want us to shy away from taking a quarterback because of Jamarcus Russell. Like, he already ruined one first overall pick for us. I don't want him to ruin any more. You know, I tweeted back at this guy who was him and Mo Moten and I were kind of going around and around, and he's like, and Mo's on my side because he's a smart guy, but this guy's like, oh yeah, you forgot about Jamarcus Russell and this and that, blah blah blah, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so this guy, if he gets turned down by some chick, he's never going to ask another chick out again because he got turned down by a chick. He's never going to do that again. No, you're going to, because, or else you'd be, lonely and have, one really big forum, right? And I just want us to take a look and try to look at these guys. Is Shador the number one prospect coming out in this draft class? No, he's not. But the quarterback position is a premium, and you put a premium on that position, and you put a premium on that draft position. So cut the guy some slack, man. It's not his fault who his dad is, but he did make a lot of what he has.
Sam Demand. So you both want Shador, no Aller. Well, first off, Aller's staying in college.
Aller's staying, yeah.
That was just announced, I think, today.
Today, yeah.
Yeah. So no worries if you didn't hear the news. It was just happened today. Again, I haven't made my official who I would be pissed at Shador here on December 16th. But like I said,
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at Cam Ward. I wouldn't be mad at freaking Travis Hunter.
But this is the thing. Like I said at the very beginning of this, or just a few minutes ago, it's the entire package that I want to know what's going to happen. That's more important, right? Like, if we're getting let's say Tom Brady's just like, all right, I'm basically the GM. I'm making all the decisions here. And they go Vrabel and I don't know who's available that Tom Brady would want as offensive coordinator. I have to think about that on who would because if they go, because this is the other thing. If the Raiders get the number one overall and we get to start brand new with a quarterback that some awesome OC would love, that opens some doors, right? Because right now, if you're an amazing offensive coordinator, you don't want to come to Vegas. You don't want to come here. We're not going to get a good head coach or a good offensive coordinator with things exactly as they are. Who wants to be Desmond Ritter's quarterback coach, But if we get number one overall, Tom Brady starts loading things up, then maybe we can lure someone attractive over. So, and then that plays the other way as well, right? Like, if we get a real great quarterback whisperer, then let's see which one they want to do, right? Like, maybe someone likes the physical traits of Cam Ward and they can play him up better. If we have more of a defensively minded coach and maybe not the world's best OC, maybe you want a more quarterback ready guy like Shador would be. Or if we're like, look, we're still 2 seasons away from contending, like, we're not turning this shit around quick, you go best player available. Maybe you go Travis Hunter, right? So before I decide, luckily we don't have to make the decision right this second. But you understand what I mean, right, Soto? Like, all these factors will decide, I think, where the Raiders should go, as opposed to just like, I think this guy's the best, go grab him.
Ultimately, it's a question that's very interesting. Do you go BPA or do you go for need? And if need if the need pick is close to the BPA pick, which way do you go? Mm-hmm. Telesco has pretty much religiously gone BPA, mm-hmm. But I don't know that he's ever picked the number one pick in the draft. He's always let the picks come to him, right?
And he's never had as bad of a quarterback situation as this.
I mean, the quarterback situation he had when he drafted Herbert was bad.
Not as bad
Because nobody knew what
as
Herbert
this.
was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had what was his name? The backup in Baltimore. I forgot his name. He had just played in Buffalo, and then they got rid of him when Josh Allen started. I forgot his name, but that guy, good guy.
Okay.
And I understand what you're saying, but there's only so many years you have of these. If all these injuries didn't teach you something, it's like you can't count on these guys being here for a long time. You can't count on Maxx Crosby being Maxx Crosby for so long. You have to try to win, and I get it. I understand. Now, I am wholeheartedly against, or I'm with not taking a quarterback. Tyrod Taylor. As I was talking, it came into my head, but I didn't want to stop my train of thought. But I am, if the guys that know, right? If like Tom Brady, Telesco, all those people look at these players and are like, look, these guys are end of the first round, second round talents. I think they're better than that, but let's just say that's what they think. Fine. Get BPA. And then quarterback, we'll figure something out. Brian Dable may be looking for a job. I think he's going to get fired by the Giants. There's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Byron Leftwich the offensive coordinator in Tampa when Tom Brady was there?
Mm-hmm.
He's a possibility because they had to collaborate on adjusting that offense. I don't remember after the get right game for Tampa was against us.
Yeah.
I think it was a Sunday night game, right? Or a Thursday night game, something like that, where the offense started to click and it started to go a little bit more no huddle and a little quicker, calling the plays at the line type of thing. Very similar to what Byron Leftwich did when he was a quarterback. So there's some guys out there that are familiar with what Tom Brady likes to do. And it's very difficult for me to get super excited about any one of these things, because if any one of these things goes wrong, it's all for naught. Mm-hmm. If you get if let's say, for example, you keep AP, but you hire a different OC, AP's terrible decision making is still going to negatively affect this team. If you get a good head coach and a good OC, but you have a quarterback situation, is like you don't address the quarterback in this draft and you roll it back with one of these stiffs that we have out there, it's still going to be a bad situation too.
Well, there'll be some quarterbacks on the open market that will be better than this. And again, it all comes down to, do you have a situation where that can do it? Like Louis Garcia's asking, well, what about Sam Darnold? I'm like, this version of Sam Darnold within this offense with this offensive coordinator is pretty good, right? Sam Darnold's playing best football of his life right now. Are we going to be able to create that environment for Sam Darnold next season? That's what we have to be constructing. Now, if you've got Travis Hunter and Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, you make a lot of quarterbacks look pretty good. Make a lot of quarterbacks look pretty good with some guys like that, right? The run game gets going, then yeah, you can find other ways to do it. But again, that's what I'm talking about, man. Is when we're like, well, what quarterback do you want? I'm like, well, who's our offensive coordinator going to be? Is this a team that can contend right away? Are guys bailing? Did we re-sign all these key pieces? We got a lot of guys that are going to be free agents this offseason that got hurt. Like, are they? Do the Raiders want to pay them? Are they going to try the open market? Are they going to bounce? Like, there's other parts of this conversation and to worry about as well. So I'm trying to be a cop out. I'm not trying to cop out, but that's my honest answer. Is like, this is all going to be dependent. I don't have to make an answer right now. The draft's in April, right? We have finished the season. We don't know who our coach is going to be, right? It's like, these are all very important questions leading into this. It's not like, this isn't a season where it's Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow or Caleb Williams, who's for sure going to be the number one. If we get number one, we're taking him no matter what. Like, it's not one of those drafts. So, yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah, I mean, I see some people talking about this draft not being that good. This draft is really heavy on the defensive line. It's good in the secondary and a lot of skill position players. A lot more defensive players than you might think. So these are you really want to look at the premium positions. There's a handful of offensive tackles that are really good. In the big five positions, right? There's quarterback, offensive line, edge rusher, wide receiver, and corner. So those are the top ones. Throwing the ball, catching the ball, protecting the thrower, defending the pass, and tackling the quarterback, tackling the passer, all revolving around passing. And although maybe the quarterback position isn't great, it's not awful. It's not. I mean, there's been some bad draft classes. People think because last year there was 6 guys that are like really highly rated that's like it's been every other year. No, there's been like one guy who's a clear number one since like for the last 10 years. I looked back at and there was maybe one guy that stuck 8 out of the 10 years. You know, so I don't think this quarterback draft class is as bad as people think, because I think the top 2 quarterbacks are a lot better than people are giving them credit for. But ultimately, yeah, man, I wouldn't begrudge this team doing anything as long as it adds more talent to the team.
Sam Demand, thank you once again for the super chat. Is there a chance we clean house but keep PG? I think that's the most likely scenario.
Yeah.
Not like is there a chance? I think that's probably the leader in the clubhouse. New head coach, new offensive coordinator, keep the defensive coordinator. Telesco's a little bit of a wild card. I think he's a little bit of a wild card because if Tom Brady comes in and is like, all right, I'm the decision maker, he'll have kind of a GM that's more of like, puppet's too strong of a word, but he'd be like, all right, my GM, you're kind of like just an extension of me. Like, you know what I'm looking for. I need you to do like the day-to-day stuff while I overlook the big operation. So I think he's the wild card depending on what kind of role Brady wants. But yeah, I think it is a clean house, but I think you keep Patrick Graham. Because Patrick Graham, remember, we thought like, oh, the defense is good this season. He's gone. Like, he's not going to get any head coaching offers. He may get a defensive coordinator offer and want to leave if things are just terrible here. I think that's the most likely way he
I gotta
leaves.
address this dude. This fucking guy, Anthony. You don't understand something, man. Our quarterback situation is god awful. We literally have the worst quarterback room in the NFL. The quarterback is the most important player, probably in team sports. It's not apples to apples. If you find yourself a quarterback that's good, even if it's a chance, because there's no guarantees in this game. This right here, and Anthony, you've been a freaking listener of this show, and you're a good dude. So don't take this personal, okay? Just like
fuck you.
No. Just like I didn't want AP to coach with his pussy. Don't draft with your pussy, okay? This is being scared. Everybody who picks a quarterback high is a maybe. Everybody. But you don't get him if you don't draft him. And we've been rolling out guys who a lot of the fan base have rated a lot higher than they shown you they were. We've been rolling out all these retreads and trying to find lightning in the bottle. There's only so long you can do this, where you finally have to say, look, we're in the position, we're drafting high. Let's take a stab at it.
Pussies are pretty powerful in this society. I can think of worse things to draft with. I will say this. I'm with you 100%. Like, what have we been saying all the time? You just keep putting bullets in the gun at quarterback. Like, that was our big argument for the longest time. You're like, I'm willing to trade 3 number 1s to get the guy. And I'm like, it's just such a crapshoot. You want to have enough bullets in the gun for 2 seasons from now, if it doesn't work out, to try again, right? You just keep trying in that draft with high picks until someone lands, because it's such a crapshoot, but it's so important. It's a less than 50% chance, but you have to hit. So you just keep throwing number 1 picks, first round picks at the board until eventually you hit somebody, right? So no argument there. I will say though, I don't think it's bad GMing or bad management of a team when you do have a generational talent like Travis Hunter available and you aren't sold on Shador or Cam or something like that. You're like, look, these guys aren't even top 15 guys. Let's go generational and let's sign Sam Darnold, or maybe someone better comes up on free agency, or we trade for someone good, or we have an offensive coordinator that just has a system that can make whatever quarterback's available really, really work. I don't think that's an insane prospect. But as long as you do understand the importance of young franchise quarterback and eventually hitting it, you can't that no, you literally have to be the Detroit Lions where you have everything else working to succeed if you don't have a great quarterback and be a Super Bowl threat. Like you have
First
to have
off, I think
everything else perfect.
You may be underestimating Jared Goff's talent. He was a number 1 overall pick for a reason. He's making a lot of these throws also. It's not like he's just dumping balls off left and right. He is making good throws.
He is, because it's a perfect system for how he plays, right? Shit ton of play action,
He still has to
overs
be able
and
to make throws,
unders.
man.
Yes, and he's making like his specific skill set, one of the best, maybe the best offensive coordinator in football, has made it work with the best line in football. Like, yeah, he's making the throws, but it's like of the giant like circle of things that Goff is capable of doing, he does these really well, but they've made this the entire game, which is what a good offensive coordinator can do when you have everything going for you. Best line in football, brutal run game, just targets for days. Maybe I do shit on him a little bit more than I should, but I do know that he has everything. It's like kind of like Brock Purdy, right? He's got the most friendly quarterback system you can ask for, and he's making it work, which is what you ask of a quarterback.
Yeah, I just
So Sam Darnold would fit that, right? Like a really highly drafted guy with a very, with athletic traits, just kind of didn't find his groove until this season. Like if you have everything else going for you, you can make that work.
And if Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield haven't shown us that the head coach OC quarterback combo needs to be right, I don't know what, because these are two guys that were in the same place and the team was terrible. And but the thing is, the thing that we're losing sight of here is those two guys were top 3 talents. Okay, they were already top 3 talents. Goff was a number 1 pick. They already had the talent there. It's a completely different thing to squint at a Farva and try to put him in. Oh well, look at Darnold, look at Mayfield. No, those were top talents coming out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's. I just don't like the whole retread thing, especially when they weren't that talented to begin with, and I think that's what we've been kind of trying to force ourselves on, and we're hopefully not going to draft this high very often, and he's a very Shador Sanders is a very polarizing player, as far as generational talents go, we've seen generational talents come in here and fall on their fucking face. So I'm not willing to say, nobody is a lock. Now, is this person, does Travis Hunter show more high-end traits than other players? Yes, I will give you that 100%. But it's not like Shador Sanders wasn't up on the podium as well when the Heisman Trophy winner was announced. He was up there too. Okay, so I just want us to just just take a step back and just don't be so harsh on things until this process comes out, because I know what I've seen, and I would, if you were really down on Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, the quarterbacks in general, and it's my opinion that it's Ward, Sanders, Ward, whatever you want to pick. Those are the top 2 quarterbacks, and there's a nice gap between the third one.
Love a nice gap.
Go watch and see what the draft experts and the pro scouts, what those guys are saying about these two players. Don't go off of, oh, well, we drafted Jamarcus, and don't worry about, what you see on TV and what the talking heads that are doing the broadcast. Those guys are forcing an agenda. They're trying to get ratings. They're trying to get something. These guys, no one's going to remember what these guys said about these players after this game is over. Now, the people that are actually putting their name on how to scout a specific player, that's a little bit different. And if you have access to all 22, fine. Watch it. If you know what you're looking for, watch it and make it a decision for yourself. But don't go off of what a lot of mainstream media is telling you about these guys, because it's all about entertainment. It's all about getting views. It's all about getting eyeballs on their product.
It's all misinformation.
Yeah, it's not. I would say it's all misinformation, but a bulk of it is not telling the whole story.
Look, all options are available, and the Raiders should aggressively be pursuing who they feel is the best quarterback that they can grab for their system. I think the Raiders should be very aggressive about a potential trade. I mean, we've got draft capital, a shit ton of cap space. I mean, look no further than Bryce Young was left for dead last season. Now he's like, okay, maybe there's something there. You're telling me this offseason we couldn't have picked up Bryce Young for probably not a whole lot? Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold came out, started playing well this season. The Denver somehow's making Bo Nix work out and turn that into a playoff team. There's multiple ways to skin a cat, right? And of course, the best case scenario and the easiest case scenario, what we want is we draft a quarterback high, we hit, and he's on a team-friendly rookie quarterback deal for 5 seasons. And we got this beautiful window where you don't have to pay a quarterback. That's best case scenario. That's what we want, right? But you don't force it if you don't think it's there. You don't force it, especially when Travis Hunter could potentially be, imagine Travis Hunter and Brock Bowers on our team for the next 15 years, right? That could make a decent quarterback a Super Bowl champion, right? So that's another part of it too. Aggressive in trades, aggressive in free agency. That's all options are open. I just want to make sure that it fits what we're trying to do with whoever's coming in fits what we're doing, and that regardless what direction we go, we are aggressive and make it a priority. Not this let's just roll with Gardner and Favre and see how it pans out. Fuck that shit.
You can't. You need a significant upgrade to everybody on the roster and at the quarterback position right now. Mm-hmm. Everybody. We'll see what if Ritter plays more, how he does. But goddamn, man, it's just I don't mind if we go into the free agent route, but it has to be someone that has some high-end traits. And normally, unless I'm mistaken, you don't get drafted high if you don't have high-end traits. Now, you could be like a Zach Wilson and just not be very bright, be all arm talent and athleticism, and just not be able to read defenses.
Justin Bieber hair.
Yeah, and love banging older chicks. But it's just, I want the high-end traits. That's my main thing. Is I think what we've done is we've settled and wanted guys who had decent traits, but nothing that you would call high-end for the quarterback position for so long. And a lot of people, I'm going to say everybody, but a lot of people in Raider Nation are so stuck on finding that gem and finding that retread who was, because look, even some of the players that we've gotten at the quarterback position that haven't worked out at other places, they come here. It's they were top draft picks, man. It wasn't like they were just bums. They just were in a rough situation, or they were injured, or whatever. So, I would just that's my main thing is we're not drafting this high very often. Why? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's getting exhausting is what it's what it is. It's getting exhausting.
It's ironic. The last time the Raiders drafted a high-end trait quarterback was Jamarcus Russell.
Wait. He had one trait, and everything else was not great.
No, he had high-end traits. He was just dumb and lazy.
He had one trait.
Stupid
He
as
could
shit.
throw the ball a mile. He had
And
an
he could move
arm
pretty
strength.
good. He could run over dudes.
He could run over him because he's fat, but
He
he
run over
wasn't very
dudes.
fast.
He had high end. He was an athlete. He was a specimen. He was just the laziest motherfucker on earth.
Yeah, he can mix a cup of lean without even looking.
What did he get caught? Did he get caught with scissor? Was that him?
Yeah. He got pulled over in Alabama
Codeine.
with some lean on him. He likes green Jolly Ranchers, from what I understand.
I can't believe it took us 52 minutes to get to the most important part of the game.
God, Mark Davis has a show, bro.
Mark Davis has a new chick. This one doesn't look very Cirque du Soleil-y, but
dude, is that a Raiders fucking leather jacket, studded leather jacket?
I wonder if that's a pin or if that's an actual jacket.
Whatever it is, it's badass. Dude, she looks like she's been sucking on an electric stove, dude.
Ironically, that's what Mark Davis calls his penis. The electric stove.
She's been sucking on a freaking hot exhaust pipe or something. Look at those freaking lips, bro.
She looks like she can suck a golf ball through a garden hose. I admit, dude, I love that milfy look, dude. That Real Housewives of Vegas look. Bleached blonde hair, just a bunch of injected lips. Just she looks like she could suck my balls through my asshole. And I like that in a woman.
I've always liked the deep throat, tongue to the taint combo.
Mm-hmm. Remember how they like on the broadcast they like cut her out so fast and they did the split screen with Mark Davis and Antonio Pierce? It's like the ESPN crew knew what they were doing. That director in that truck in Las Vegas knew exactly what he was doing. He's like, all right, let's show this MILF, let's show this smoke show.
And then cut her off.
Full haircut, right? Mark Davis, and then boom, and then let's make it about Antonio. They're like, oh yeah, we just wanted a 2-shot because we wanted to do a split screen. Okay, director, I see you. Has she been there before? We haven't had a primetime game where they would show Mark all that often. This is the first time we've seen her.
Yeah. Apparently she's married to someone else, but I'm sure he rented her for the night.
All right, Windbags. This is where you got to get to work. I need you guys to find our Instagram. I need to know who this chick is. I got to do some serious research. I got to know what she's got packing underneath that jacket. It's very important to me.
Oh, they got to be some bolt-ons.
How old do you think she is?
Probably late 30s.
Really? I was going to say like mid 40s. Late 30s?
Yeah, I'll say late 30s.
I think
all the work actually makes her look older.
You can tell by her neck, actually, that she's not super old. She doesn't have like that wrinkly, like rooster neck thing going, you know?
Look, this right here, like right under where the shadow is, that's way too tight because she's not that young. She's had work done.
Oh, no. Oh, you think? I know she's had work done. But it's the neck job. The neck job's the hardest one to do. Like that's how you can always kind of tell.
Oh shit.
Stop.
It's a man.
Stop.
It's a man, baby.
No Adam's apple.
She has Adam's apple as big as her balls.
She had hands the size of Andre the Giant. Her Adam's apple was the size of her balls. Let us know in the comments. What movie is that from?
Yeah, well, a female listener says, I'm guessing early 30s. I'm thinking mid to late 30s. Thank you, May Spitfire.
Don't hit on May Spitfire too much. I don't think she's a girl. I think it's just a photo of a girl. Actually, keep hitting on her. See what happens. I'm very curious. I want you to get catfished in the comment section. Funny. It's a ma'am.
It's ma'am.
It's the madam. She's probably the madam that gets Mark Davis his whores. Whores. I had a big debate with the wife. Do you like to say whores the way that Danny DeVito says it in Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Whores.
Whores.
Or do you like saying it like the guys from The Sopranos? Whores. You fucking whore. Or do you like whores? Like
I kind of like the Marine version of hoorahs. The hoorah.
There you go, Louis. 4-year-old virgin.
Good job, Louis. Way to pay attention.
Wife says 38.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She looks probably a little mid to late 30s. I ain't hating.
She look older or younger than my wife? Older or younger than Vicky?
Dude, Vicky looks really young, dude. She looks really young for her age. She
because
looks
she
really
lives
young.
a stress-free life being married to me.
Yeah. I think it's all those facials. Real facials. Don't think dirty.
That's my wife.
She's,
That's the
she
mother
has
of my
a
child we're
very
talking about here,
she
Soto.
has
Nice.
a very meticulous skincare routine.
Mhm.
We discussed it actually.
All natural. All right. Anything else you want to get to? If you love blocked kicks, this is a game for you. Too bad Sincere McCormick rolled his ankle. One guy that could finally
Yeah, that
maybe
looked
start.
nasty, dude. That
That
looked
really
real. That's a
sucked.
high ankle sprain. That looked bad.
That was such a story too for him to like kind of kick around, like, undrafted practice squad, destroyed his knee, finally came back, looked good, and not and both as a human being is a good story for him, and also selfishly, like, oh, do we finally have a running back that we might want to keep next season? Like one that like, oh, like this is actually a guy that we can like. Not that we wouldn't still improve, but it's like, oh fuck yeah, put Sincere McCormick on rotation. He ran hard this year.
What do you think?
Are you talking about us, the show, or the Raiders in general?
I think us the show. I don't think
What's
ever really.
which going to be better first? The Autumn Windbags or the Las Vegas Raiders?
Let's hope the Raiders. I think we got further to go than they do.
Yeah,
They're the league.
they're both kind of tied together. You know what I mean? Like we're riding the coattails. We're riding the coattails of this franchise.
Yeah, right.
I kind of want them to be good.
At least the Bears looking good.
I can't believe 112 of you are still listening an hour after the worst game ever. Like, it wasn't even a game where I could get mad. I was literally just getting bored. I was like, all right, time to give the kid a bath. Let me just go find some candy. It's just like,
dude, homegirl came over with some in and out. I was like, you are a freaking savior.
Like this game could have been an email. It was just like, okay, it's just like the Atlanta Falcons suck, but they just suck less and they have something to play for more than the Raiders. Just give them the win. Let's move on, please. Don't let no one get hurt. Special teams got the note. They got the news about tanking. This was one of the worst special teams performances I've seen out of the Raiders in a long time.
Yeah, it's not just that the tackling wasn't great. It just, I don't know, man. That was pretty rough. These next two games, these next two games are uncomfortably winnable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
We're playing dangerously inept opponents the next 2 weeks.
And
are they both on the road? Jacksonville and New Orleans? I know we're at New Orleans.
No, we're at New Orleans. I think Jacksonville. I think it is at Jacksonville. Honestly, hang on.
Yeah, that's checking. Good. Gotta get on the road. Roger, checking. At home. At home with Jacksonville.
All right. Then at the Aints.
And close it out with the Chargers. Dude, the Giants schedule, they're going to...
rough, bro.
Dude. They're not going to win. They're not going to get games even close. Well, I take it back. I lied. They do have Falcons next week. The
Giants are so... I mean, we're bad because we're injured. The Giants are just bad.
They end with the Eagles. Colts, nothing special, but... I mean, we've got back-to-back atrocious teams that are in a bad place, right? Like injuries.
Is it bad that I'm rooting for Derek Carr to come back?
Well, that was also like, it's weird because it's like, I was really looking forward to like the Derek Carr revenge game, like, oh, a storyline, something interesting, late season, 9 years with the Raiders, gets to finally play them. Could he possibly lose to all 32 NFL teams? It's like there were so many storylines and things to get interested in. But now it's just like, I just want them to be as good as possible to beat us, but I don't want to lose. It's so weird, man. The last drive of this game, I didn't know what to. I was so confused. Like I had to have been like a bi-curious kid in college going to his first gay bar. It's like, do I like this? Do I not like this? What do I want? How do I want to see this end?
Goodbye, horses.
Like, I don't know what to like feel. All right. Well, you guys know what to do. I want you to find Mark Davis's chick for me, please. I need to do some research.
Everybody, please. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share to all your social medias. Do us a favor. This is the absolute minimum you can do to help the channel out, besides absolutely nothing. All right. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Share it to your, even if you're talking crap, like, dude, look at these idiots. Listen to these idiots talk about the Raiders. I don't care what it is. Do me a huge favor and put it out there, because there, as many of you guys who I know when I watch other channels, I see some of the names pop up with some of our buddies, right? A lot of us are just kind of recycling the same people over, and we've got some new listeners coming in.
We'll be back on Thursday, as always. OC/chaplain.
Grandmaster JRA, thank you for the super chat, sir. Carl will be our next OC/chaplain. Charlie.
We need God on our side. That's for sure. Because Lord knows God ain't in the black hole as of now.
Yeah. I mean, look, ultimately, I think we got what we wanted. We were severely outmanned. Other than the blocking on special teams, I think both sides of the ball played very hard. And we're seeing some of the young players come up and make plays. And that's how you build depth. Is you get young players some experience playing, and then when your starters come back, they're able to push them a little bit and maybe overtake them in some spots, maybe just be solid backups in other spots. But that's how you build the depth to a team, and that's how you build the team. Is you draft guys, you get young guys, and you have them come up through the system. As far as who we pick, there's just so long. Do we have what, freaking 4 months until the draft?
Mm.
It's going to be in April, so we got 4 months till this thing happens. We got
coach comes first. Who head coach decision comes
coach
first.
And offensive coordinator is really a big thing.
What are you going to do with GM and new coach and new OC? That needs to be figured out immediately. If Mark Davis isn't already, like he says, he's not going to make a decision, he needs to at least have the feelers out now, because that needs to happen before anything can happen.
Well, I'm sure it already is, dude. I'm sure it already is. I there's a reason I think that Antonio Pierce doesn't really get super pissed off at like when he gets screwed on a call, because he knows he's not going to be here next year. It's like, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like Adam Schefter reported it on Pat McAfee's show, how he was saying how Mark Davis was kind of hanging AP out to dry by not giving him a vote of confidence. And I think Adam Schefter was honestly just biting our shit, because he went down the paces of everything that we talked about, not giving AP a vote of confidence, making it a point to say that the Telesco AP decision is going to be separate. They're not married. We went over this the last show, and Schefter goes on to a platform like the Pat McAfee show and basically echoes our sentiment. So you're welcome, Adam Schefter, for the content.
We've had worse people copy off our homework. All right, boys, we'll see you on Thursday. Until then, knock on wood if you're with me.